Greetings, Invader Scum. This is Pincognito, aka Pinko. This is going to be what maybe I think first in a few videos I'm making it for geared towards new invaders, and I particularly wanted to highlight what I think is the best soul level range for new invaders, and I think that's about 50 soul level 50 to 80. I think that's superior to low levels where you have kind of massive problems with twinks and gang squads, and the meta levels where you have just the beastly gang squads that you contend with frequently. I think, in contrast to both of those invasion levels, the mid level, kind of 50 to 80-ish roughly, you generally don't see as many organized ganks, and twinking doesn't really have as much to play in terms of the PvP matchups. You can optimize your stats, but your ability to kind of twink through items is a little more neutered by the time you get to these soul levels. So what I'm doing is going to be doing evasions for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes roughly, which is pretty consistent with how I play a lot of the time. And I'm going to leave in every invasion I have, win or lose. The only exceptions would be invasions where I got a connection error as soon as I entered the world, or where you know, the host died the second I entered the world, which also happens you know, fairly often. Not all the time, but often enough. And so I'm going to edit those out because there's nothing interesting to say about those or anything to learn from seeing those. But I'll leave in my losses as well. There's usually something to get from them, not always. You know, if you get overrun by a group of 3 or 4, well, then you just got overrun by a group of 3 or 4 most of the time. Sometimes there's something you could have done different, but more often than not, that's just a tough place to be. Nevertheless, I'll leave them in to the extent they happen. So, let's take a look at this edgy fellow, the glorious cheekbones. He is soul level 72, got +8 weapons, the Goddards, got the Dart Drift for chase downs, offhand crossbow, kite shield, obscuring ring, silver cat ring, slumbering dragon cast ring, and the prisoner's chain. I'll talk frequently in this video about the slumbering dragon crest ring because, while very situational, it's a good ring, particularly here in Erythro Dungeon when there's lots of verticality. It masks your footsteps and it comes in very useful. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Let's get to it. Alright, first invasion. This one was pretty fun. I think we got a couple blues in this one. So, I'm just at the beginning of the invasion here, looking for the host. We'll see an example of the truly wonky DS3 physics. The host was on the other side of that wall, I think, and somehow managed to knock over all the crockery by, I don't know, moving. So I know the host is on the other side in that little room. But blue is on the way, and it is my blood oath to take care of the blue first. So I know he's down there. I've got the Dragon Crest ring. He can't hear me, and I just timed that. I timed it well. Caught him totally off guard. Wasn't able to catch them after the initial plunge attack, but I've already made the blue use 2 Estus, so that's good. I check if the maggot beast thing is alive, but it's not, so I don't have any PvE backup. I stupidly walk right into the pickaxe R1s, then whiff the backstab, so not a great sequence, but the blue is kind enough to not really level their vigor, so it's a pretty short fight. And these days in invasions, if one blue shows up, you're pretty certain to have a second, if not a third and a fourth in sequence. But 2 at a time is really common. If I hadn't killed that one so quickly, would have been 2 blues for sure. There's another one that shows up. Now, I thought this blue might stick with the host, but they come charging out looking for me, which is fine. Really caught me with that Black Knight sword. That was more range than I was expecting, and I use that weapon a lot. But he doesn't heal, and he's got no HP. Again, 17 vigor. It's just not enough. Unless you're pretty experienced, there's going to be it's way too low to win many PvP encounters. And here the host is hiding pretty cleverly. I know this level really well, so I saw him and I saw the embers, but that's a pretty nice hiding spot. Well done. I switched to my backup dart drift for some chase downs. So this host is clearly not new to the game, moving pretty well. Picked a hell of a hiding spot in this level. Not super aggressive with the attacks, but here I'm able to get the parry. Is it still a setup parry if you're tanking the hits? Is that a tanking parry? I forget all the nomenclature, but get a setup parry of sorts there. And this host is in a world of hurt right now. They've got the undead hunter charm keeping them from healing. I've got a full Estus available, so there's really no reason for me to lose at this point. Short of 3 blues showing up immediately. Yeah, so a nice little first invasion to get things started off. So here I could tell that all the jellos were alive, so I knew the host was back at the bonfire. And this is something you'll certainly encounter if you begin to invade frequently, the away from controller host. Why people don't just, quit out to the main menu, I have no idea. But I don't particularly like just killing hosts like this. It's really not very sporting. It's also not very fun. So I try to wake them up. Maybe they're grabbing a beer from the fridge, hear the character taking damage. Come back to the TV, I don't know. Takes a little while. But eventually, I get a couple R1s for greeting, and then I thought we were about to have a fight. I thought maybe the host was either retreating outside the staircase to fight out there, or maybe waiting for some blues to show up. But as I'm checking my rings, I probably just jumped off the cliff. I don't get it. I'm not sure why a fight wouldn't be more fun, but you'll see that a lot. So here I saw, as soon as I spawned in, I saw the host taking damage down below, and even too far down below to even be within this area. So I know that they're down on the tunnel that leads to or the hallway that leads to the giant. So I make my way over to the shortcut. I take a quick peek just to make sure they weren't even farther down than I initially thought, but I was pretty certain they were down by the giant, based on the evidence I had seen so far. This is not a bad spot to catch even decently large parties from behind, because you've got some PvE assistance and you can make a quick retreat. Here they foolishly aggroed the mimic and didn't kill it, and let it follow them into this hallway with all the other enemies, so not wise. Passport Summon Phantom gets taken out by the mimic, and my job now is a lot easier. Here, I should have caught the host here, but I let my stamina bar deplete all the way because I thought I could catch him before I did. But and then I would just whiff the backstab. I thought I had him with a firebomb. I think just ahead of him. Look, that looked pretty good from this distance, but oh well. I don't know if the host was out of Estus. It's possible, but they just don't want to fight. So, 3 R1s. All it took. Alright, so here again you can see the host health bar as soon as I spawn in. So I know immediately where they're at. So it doesn't take too much detective work to track them down. And again, because I have the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring and also the Obscuring ring, they can't hear me or see me, or they can't see me within a certain amount of distance. They can't hear me at all. So I check to see if they're coming around, then I make my way over here to try to catch them with a plunging attack. They're starting to buff up, and I'm pretty sure the host caught me at the last second as I was jumping down, but it was just too late. I'm telling you, the Slumbering Dragon Crest Ring on this level is pretty useful. That shield can't parry, so I can R1 spam for days. Here, the host does not heal, and they're almost down 50% health. Not wise. This is a good rule of thumb for invaders too. If you've got Estus available, you really should use it. Michael Stack, a fellow YouTuber, and Saint's stream a lot. Saint Riot stream a lot. Was talking about this in one of his recent videos, and I hadn't really thought about it, but I frequently lose invasions when I've got tons of Estus left. That's just silly. You want to manage your Estus obviously, and not overuse it and run out. Use it when it's not optimal. But it's equally foolish just to leave hundreds of hit points of healing unused if there were opportunities to make use of it. So this invasion was really weird. I just could not get a read on the host. You know, obviously there's no one way to invade. You know, if you want to come invade, carry a torch and lead people around the level, then more power to you. I like to defeat hosts and as many phantoms as possible in the process. But you know, if it's a brand new player, sometimes I try to give them some embers or make it a somewhat more interesting fight to the extent I can. But I just could not get a read on this host. I couldn't figure out whether they were new or just messing with me or what was going on. So here I'm trying to get the host to come around so we have some space to fight. They're just holding that shield up, which is like at all times, which is usually a pretty good indicator of someone new to the game. But there I thought they were even backstab fishing, so I couldn't figure out what was going on really. Here they catch me. A little bit of lag between us, which is not ideal, but not uncommon. You can see pretty bad lag right there. Took damage like a full second after I hit them. So at this point, I think I had in my mind that they were new to the game, and I was feeling a little bad about that, plus the lag in combination. So you see I'm being pretty passive at this point. I don't know. I think I was probably wrong about them being new to the game, potentially. I don't know. Are they taunting me? I didn't try to parry, so I couldn't figure out why they were parry spamming in front of my face. I don't know. Maybe this let them know. Maybe they're letting me know that they knew how to parry. I don't know what was going on here. So I'm getting too many emotes. I can't understand what they're trying to tell me. Parry spam. I'm getting bows. I'm getting the hay. I don't know what's going on anymore. I give them some embers. Give them the invader salute. I don't know what's going on. I thought about black crystalling out. I don't know what the host is doing. We're having a very awkward moment here together. And I think my mind was just totally out of this invasion at this point. I just couldn't figure out what was happening. But the host wants to fight. Crazy range in that R2. That had to be lag, right? That was insane. Anyway, I don't heal. Foolishly. I guess I was treating this like a duel for no good reason. Maybe because I felt bad about the lag and I thought they were new, but whatever. It cost me. I don't know. And then I get R1 spammed in my face. I get the hay. I was feeling a little salty about giving those embers over. So I'll tell you new invaders, just kill the host. It's much simpler emotionally. So I'm getting lucky with my spawn ins. I'm seeing people taking damage right away, so I know right where they are. So this invasion includes a pretty useful lesson, I think, in high-level play that you can bring to the soul level 60 or 50 to 80 range. This is just, it's key to winning invasions. It's pretty complicated, pretty technical, great tech, and it's unlocked R1 spam. Use it, man. It's really good. After no more than a day's practice, you can do it too. Can't hit this host. I get him eventually. Yeah. In the immortal words of Saint Riot, fuck pride, get tongues. Use that R1 spam. It's entirely appropriate in many circumstances in this game. So it ain't pretty, it ain't sophisticated, but it works. So I see the Phantom there. Again, they can't hear me. And again, it proves useful. Now, I can't prove it's a Slumbering Dragon Crest ring, but I don't need to, because it worked. Therefore, alright. I probably could have just stood back and let the Maggot Beast take care of the host, but they don't get much easier than that in a 2v1, that's for sure. Alright, so man, that name, that is edgy as hell. Took me forever to find this guy. He must have just been running the level. So he appeared to be out by the giant, but by the time I got there, he was long gone. So he's aggroed everything here. I come out and take a quick check. Rats are dead in the hallway, rats are alive down below, which means... and the rats are not aggroed down below, which means he didn't take that shortcut. So I make it down to the room of pain. The jailers are aggroed by something. I'm not sure what. The host is approaching the area, but he's nowhere near here yet, so I'm not sure what they were so upset about. But we finally, I mean, this was a couple minutes in actual game time that took me to find this guy. But here I see him sprinting through. A little laggy intro, but I also just walked straight into that. If you're carrying a straight sword, don't walk into altergrades. That's my pro tip of the day. You'll see here, and this is my admission, I am not great at fighting altar weapons, which, as someone who mains straight swords, basically, that's a little embarrassing, but I'm very impatient. I like to be very aggressive. And that is a terrible, terrible strategy against altar weapons. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure why he was applauding me. And the hideous dual bow. I don't know. I couldn't tell if that was a sarcastic applause or he was happy to have a fight. I don't know. Could have tried parrying that attack, but I was a little afraid of the damage I would take from the rolling R1. Managed to nicely get in and out there. Managed to nicely walk into a jumping attack here. But get some roll catches. He's hurting. So I know I can take him out. One more hit. Oh, wow, it barely works out though. I had a sliver of health. So I got the win, but was not particularly well played. Now this host knew what they were doing. So I was having a little trouble finding him, but then I see him sprinting down below. And I almost get the plunge here. Would have been a much different invasion if I had, I think. But I missed time to jump, but just a little bit. Host is waiting. And just miss. Again, we got another ultra weapon, which should be to my advantage, but they just make me nervous. I don't know. I like to press the attack, and it's very easy to eat some giant R1s if you do that with a straight sword. There, I was able to attack and roll out or through, so that worked out well. But you'll see he catches me a couple times here. So we're having a really nice duel, and I thought it would remain that way because he seems pretty comfortable with it. Certainly not new to the game. But alas, the fun cops, the fun police were on their way. So against a host that's decently skilled like this, that's not good. There he could have probably damn near ended the fight if he got riposte. And this is not good for me. This host is good enough that fighting him with the blue is going to be really hard. So that side of the map leaves me trapped, and so I make my way over here. So I've got some escape routes. I can get deeper into the level from over here. The other side, he hadn't marked any shortcuts, so I would have been stuck over there if they'd pinned me down on the lower level. So the blue I'm hoping is a little less experienced. I try to lure him over to the jailers, get a little PvE assistance. Sure enough. I got so close to finishing this blue off. So now he's so close to being done, and I thought I had him now. But he's still alive. I can't get the chase down, roll catch, and at this point I just want to beat this blue, and that's my undoing. So I missed the plunge attack. I'm desperate to get this blue. I'm not paying attention to anything else, and oh man, well played. Host does not give a shit about me on his way through the level. That was well played. The main lesson, I think, for anyone new to invading there is keep your eye on the prize. The blue is fun to fight, but the blue is not who you're there to beat. And I let my bloodlust to get that blue just totally distract me from even paying attention to where the host was at. And I obviously paid the price that time. So at a minimum, you got to keep an eye on where every opponent is in the level. I completely lost track of the host. This host, I don't know what was going on with this guy. Yeah, so he aggroes the jailer by unnecessarily standing right in front of her, and then just refuses to even attack her. I'm not sure if he was afraid I was just gonna wail on him while he attacked the jailer. Not an unreasonable concern, I guess, but with that weapon he's got, it wouldn't take too long to take her out, but he just waits till she walks away. I'm not crazy about going in this room, the bonfire room, to fight hosts, particularly when they have a large weapon like he does, because there's not much room, and that benefits the great or ultra great weapon user for sure, at least I think. Catches me, does a crap ton of damage. I'm able to get the backstab. Can't get the charm though. Might have had him if not for clipping the bars there with my R1. Host almost had me there. I'm able to delay my roll to miss his roll catch. Yeah, I mean, I guess these great weapons, great curved sword, great swords, ultra greats, if you're using a smaller, faster weapon, you just have to be reactive, and it's something I struggle with. But if you don't, you're just gonna eat R1s to the face repeatedly. So, all right, that's our last invasion for this video. This is a pretty fun little 2v1 and temporarily 3v1. So I can see the host and their phantom kind of hunkering down at the end of the hall. I consider changing my rings, but I'm a lazy man. So even though none of them are doing me any good here, I leave them all on. Except for the prisoner's chain. Every other ring I have on right now is completely worthless to me, but Ring swapping is very useful, and you should learn how to do it. It's not necessary in a lot of invasions in order to get the win, but you can certainly optimize your character and their damage and all that good stuff by taking the time to swap rings. I'm just really lazy about it. Even there, when I had like 10 seconds to think about what to do, I just got bored with looking at it and went on with the invasion. So blue's on the way. I made a quick check to make sure I wasn't paying much attention to which direction the eye went, so I went back behind me to make sure they hadn't spawned behind me. So here comes the blue. Don't know what that blue was thinking. I assume they had like 1,000 intelligence and were about to nuke me with a crystal soul spear, but 12 vigor, that is pretty difficult for invasions at like soul level 15, much less 70. And if you're gonna crystal soul spear nuke people, you can't just walk into their straight swords. I don't know. That's someone that clearly doesn't PvP a lot. As a red, you're gonna come across a lot of blues. Clearly don't do a lot of PvP. Here, I eat 4 straight R1s because I tried to parry after the first 2, and boy, that did not work out. Here, the problem I'm having here, I think, is that I recognize that these players are relatively new. At least that's the assumption I'm making. And I'm not respecting the mechanics of the game. Just because the player is new doesn't mean that their weapon range is any worse or that their R1 spam is any less effective. And so I repeatedly in this particular invasion, I just leave myself inside their weapon ranges and just eat R1 spam. It's just silly. I mean, again and again. Now, Phantom made the mistake of just consistently relying on their shield to protect them in any situation. And that's a quick way to die. Thought I could break the hyper armor on the weapon art again, but I got there too late. Again, I was trying for a setup parry after blocking the first attack, but setup parries were not happening for me in this invasion. I think I gave up at this point, even trying them. Hosts doesn't watch their stamina. That was their fatal mistake here. I'm able to get the riposte and the undead hunter charm. They're in trouble now. A couple roll catches. That's it. Alright folks, this has been half hour or so in the life of a finger. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.